fills me with inspiration.
Don't ever look at my savings account. The dough doesn't rise.
BMO has 2 simple ingredients to make your savings rise. Great interest rates and no monthly fees.
Yeah, I would do it all right.
Plus, get a cash bonus for opening a checking and savings account.
So BMO helps your savings grow bigger faster.
Like a triple dose of yeast.
You're hired.
What? Nah, I wasn't looking for it.
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
BMO.
Yes, chef.
Yeah.
Do you like puzzles, Mr. Wolf?
Should we go over the plan again?
Plan.
Cookies. Or cream. Crunchy cookies or smooth cream. How about both?
This Daptol, it will take all of us to fund better cancer treatments, to fund hope. Help hope bloom. Donate now at cancer.ca/Daptol.
Imagine you could get help for your stiff, achy joints without products that just hide the symptoms.
My
Instaflex
new
Advance.
pants.
It relieves joint pain and stiffness caused by osteoarthritis. With key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies, you'll have better
Oh, they're
knees in
nice.
1 week. Instaflex Advance. Get it today.
$8. Oh, that's nice.
Wow. Welcome back.
Introducing Burger King's new fiery menu. Taste our mild fiery strawberry and spring, our medium fiery chicken fries, or our signature fiery bacon whopper. Turn up the heat. The all-new fiery menu is here.
Oh, sorry.
I
You go
think
for it.
only the
It's
secret
I
that
can. You reach for it first.
I insist.
I insist more.
Just, you can take it.
That's,
Oh, thank goodness.
well, that's amazing.
Delicious
It's
cracker.
not like the zipper of
No,
this.
it's plastic.
When you see what it's really like when our skin touches wool,
Wow.
you see why we need Downy. Adding Downy to your wash not only makes your clothes
It's amazing.
softer on your skin, it breathes life into your laundry.
Nice zipper.
HelloFresh makes it easy to pull together a delicious homemade meal any day of the week. No matter what your day looks like. HelloFresh. Easy, delicious,
I
homemade.
don't know if
These iconic wonders and legends continue to inspire our quest.
Well, I'll try it on tomorrow, okay?
All new Monday at 10 on the History Channel.
You know, there's an
Should be
ancient
fine.
military maxim. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak.
My man knows his Sun Tzu.
Hard war.
Now keep that quote in mind as you ponder our next mystery. How did a division of tanks appear out of nowhere to stymie a Nazi counterattack?
Take a good look at this photo. Looks like a bunch of tanks stationed near a country road, right? But looks can be deceiving. And what's really going on here is one of the wildest stories of
They're
World War II.
inflatables.
September 1944, France. Just 3
Hello,
months after
Oleg.
Allied forces are advancing
Thank you,
swiftly
thank you.
across Western Europe. George Patton's Third Army is attacking
Look
the
at what
fortress city
I've
of Metz.
done
In
so
September
far.
1944, the Germans, of course, had been pushed out of Normandy, and the Allies are racing across France as quickly as their supply lines will allow them to do so, with the hope of being able to basically cross into Germany and try to end the war before the onset of winter.
But Patton's rapid advance has put his troops far ahead of his supply lines and reinforcements, spelling potential disaster.
And once that happens, his troops become overstretched and are potentially vulnerable to German counterattacks to exploit weaknesses in his line.
German command sees a mouth-watering opportunity. But seemingly overnight, new recon comes in. The 6th Armored Division, more than 8,000 men with tanks,
I
has
have
appeared
again
out of
another
nowhere
one.
to shore up Patton's flank. That photo we showed you captures a little bit
One
of what
sec.
the Germans would have seen. It spooks them, and they turn back. For decades, the Pentagon refuses to divulge how the division suddenly appeared like superhumans.
I'm going out on a limb here. The disinformation campaigns put on by the Allies at the end of World War II may have been the best in military history.
I agree. They had this uncanny ability to keep the German recon looking at what they wanted them to see, all while hiding what they needed to keep secret.
So these tactics were so effective, they were kept top secret for decades. So while heroes like General George Patton got all the credit in the world for winning the war, these geniuses remained unsung till now.
The secret of how the 6th Armored Division appeared out of nowhere is that they didn't. What the Germans really saw was a different unit. The 23rd Headquarters Special Troops. The Ghost Army.
The 23rd Special Headquarters
The
Troops
Ghost
was the
Army.
first multi-unit military deception unit, and it was there to basically confuse and deceive the Germans on Allied strengths as they advanced towards Germany.
These military magicians could make their small, agile force of 500 look like a fearsome wrecking crew of 8,000.
Denial and deception operations are pivotal in warfare. And in this operation, that was the key to defeating the Nazis.
As you can see in this footage shot by the Army, the Ghost Army's weapons were visual and sonic deception.
The people that are actually there are there to create the illusions of this much larger unit.
What kind of soldier was needed to pull this off? The kind with special skills not typical of combat units.
The people who did this were artists and designers, real creative types.
The visual deception involved inflatable equipment that looked like tanks and artillery from a distance.
Wow.
This model, which is about as deadly as a beach ball, is an inflatable replica of the legendary Sherman tank. And this is a dummy howitzer artillery cannon. For sonic deception, they transmitted a division's worth of radio traffic.
The Ghost Army was able to simulate the radio traffic, for example, of American divisions.
And to sell the hoax, they used sonic trucks to play the sounds of thousands of men and equipment for anyone listening.
You have some of the soldiers deploying some of the inflatables here. While some of the images that you'll see now seem even laughable, how could this be real? But you gotta think about, based on the technologies at the time, of what the enemy would be able to see from the air, from an aircraft.
Amazing, isn't it?
This was
Yeah.
very real to them. And that's what
Wow.
mattered.
Seeing is believing, and what the Germans thought they saw was more than they could handle. So they delayed any action long enough for some real Allied reinforcements
But they don't know
to
it's
arrive
only a
and replace those inflatable tanks. The Ghost Army would
inflatable.
pull off almost 24 similar operations during the war, keeping the German command scratching their race-obsessed, power-mad heads across the European theater.
You're trying to confuse the enemy. When you're trying to project that you have more power than what you really have. You want them to see you as the 10-foot tall man, and when in fact you're not. Now they fear what is coming. You've created a legend. After the war, many of the 23rd's ranks became well known. Folks like fashion designer Bill Blass, sculptor Ellsworth Kelly, and wildlife artist Arthur Singer.
Amazing, Ronnie. The Ghost Army was able to do its magic again and again. Like the sleight of hand.
It's the first day of school.
You're gonna be an amazing coach.
They're both your problem now. Colors and kids just need somebody to believe in. Guys like you need to talk to his thing. Wow, bro, that's apparently too stupid to graduate. I'm feeling a bit of pressure. Dad, you're a great coach. And you got me. Coach your son. That explains the power trip.
I love football.
What would you say, Victor? I want you to come play for me. Watch All American. New season premieres Friday at 9. Now on Detour. You're watching the History Channel, which also streams on Stack TV. With new shows streaming every day, there's always something to watch on Stack TV.
Odds of a skiing injury, 1 in 334. Odds of being pickpocketed, 1 in 3,534. Odds of going under, 1 in 10,386. Odds of getting shingles, 1
Shingles.
in 3. We all help protect ourselves, even when the odds are long. What about when they're not? Ask your healthcare professional about Shingrix.
One of those soccer, swim, and softball after school kind of days, huh? Don't stress. HelloFresh has dinner covered, no matter what your week looks like. So you can get a delicious homemade meal on the table in no time. HelloFresh, easy, delicious, homemade.
I was leaving work. Out of nowhere, this beautiful beam of light shined towards me. It was huge inside, full of futuristic technology.
As it whisked me away, a sense of calm washed over me.
It's monitoring the world around us.
It took me to distant worlds, thousands of kilometers away.
And before I knew it, I was downtown.
The new 2025 Subaru Crosstrek, the true urban legend. Meet Noodles. She's part short-haired and part ninja. Meet the Bissell Crosswave Hydro Steam. It's part vacuum, mod, steamer, and ninja nemesis. Bissell, a new breed of queen.
No frills. We're here to help you save money. When did I just see you buy these?
Good thing they're a good price.
Saving's too hot to handle. It's the no frills thing to do.
What's blooming at Old Navy?
Get 30 to 50% off almost everything. Great sunflower styles and deals that will blow you away. It's Old Navy.
This daffodil hunt, it will take all of us to fund better cancer treatments, to fund hope. Help hope bloom. Donate now at cancer.ca/daffodil. These dishes just aren't getting clean.
The problem isn't your machine. It's likely your detergent.
Really?
Really? I recommend switching to Cascade Platinum Plus. These new pods are packed with more soaking, scrubbing, and rinsing action. Plus, the grease-fighting power of Dawn, easily removing up to 100% of tough stuff.
Really? That's impressive. Really?
Almost always. The cracks are five rounds.
For all of life's laundry functions, it's got to be Tide.
Here she is.
Penguins are just absolute magic.
This Earth Month, National Geographic invites you to
It's
unlock
okay, baby.
the secrets of the penguins.
I can see it.
Good morning, Jericho High School. Good luck to Dr. McCalla and his science research students.
Okay, everybody's responsible for making sure their board is in the box. Does everybody have their form?
Used on the battlefield in World War I, it's even more terrifying when these weapons kill innocent civilians. Let's go back 40 years to an incident that left dozens dead in a town in Siberia. The question: what was happening at the secret base known as Compound 19? You're looking at the graves of the victims. People whose lives were cut short. People whose deaths were covered up. People whose story can only now be told. It was May 1979. Several residents in the Cold War city of Sverdlovsk turn up at hospitals with disturbing symptoms.
They have fever, they're vomiting, and they're unsure what's happening. At first, they think it might be a polio outbreak.
Within days, dozens are dead. Authorities quickly release an explanation to calm the city.
The Soviet government initially tried to say that the residents who had died were killed from eating spoiled meat.
Okay, it happens. In fact, in 2017, an outbreak of listeria from contaminated deli meat killed 216 people in South Africa. But infected meat would kill people in a random pattern. These deaths occurred following a straight line that just happened to match the prevailing wind direction. That means that whatever is killing them is airborne. That raises the possibility of bioweapons. But hang on. The Soviets agreed with the US and other nations to abandon bioweapons programs in 1972. Could they still be developing them in secret? You betcha. In fact, in 1979, their agency known as BioPreparat is building the largest biological warfare program in history. And the city of Sverdlovsk is actually a secret city, built just for that deadly purpose.
Sverdlovsk was built specifically to explore and develop biological weapons. Even the people that lived there didn't necessarily
You want
know
to
where
find
they
the
were.
hot
They
tub
could show up on a
later?
map.
No,
They
it's
were
dirty.
completely
You
hidden.
gotta clear it.
You weren't really
You
allowed
have
to
to
tell
check
people
it.
where you lived. You weren't allowed to
You have
visit
to
with
reset
anybody.
it. It's cold.
Once you
Oh,
went to a
okay.
place like
I turn the
Sverdlovsk,
temperature down.
that was your home, likely for the rest of your life.
I really wonder how bad an accident at one of these secret cities would have to be for the Soviets to cop to it as a safety issue.
The Chernobyl meltdown could have contaminated the drinking water in Europe for like 1,000 years, and they kept that a secret as long as they could.
And that wasn't even military weaponry, much less illegal military weaponry. So I want to find out, was this some kind of crazy treatment-resistant superbug? And what happened to it?
The biological weapon being
Wow, that's
manufactured
nice. Look at that. It's all snow.
Yeah.
Anthrax.
Anthrax is an incredibly deadly bacteria,
Oh.
and as a biological weapon is extremely dangerous.
But how did it leak out?
What went wrong at this facility was the scientists have to replace the air filters ever so often. And what happened was the scientists took the air filters out, but they forgot to put them back in. And then over the weekend, 10 kilograms of anthrax was released out through that unfiltered vent.
And the wind picked them up in just the right way to deliver these spores to the population.
And despite dozens of people dying from anthrax exposure, it's actually far from the worst case scenario.
They're actually lucky because if the wind had been blowing in the opposite direction, hundreds of thousands of people could have died.
Ingesting naturally occurring anthrax has a 60% fatality rate, roughly twice that of smallpox. Weaponized anthrax has a 90% fatality rate.
Worst case scenario, somebody would weaponize anthrax and modify it so that the vaccine wouldn't work against it, or that it could be contagious between people. Right now, anthrax, in its original form, only infects that first person.
And the Soviets had an entire secret city engineering this stuff? Actually, they had more than 50 cities. In closed sites across the USSR, scientists were working to weaponize the viruses that caused the bubonic plague, smallpox, Legionnaire's disease, and even a close cousin to Ebola. How do we know all this? Because in 1992, the Russians finally copped to it.
It isn't until 1992, when the Soviet Union collapses, that Boris Yeltsin comes out and admits that this was a Soviet military program.
To usher in a new era of transparency, Russia signs a new pact forbidding bioweapons development. So whatever happened to the anthrax from Sverdlovsk?
All of the spores that were in this factory were destroyed, covered in bleach, and then they were buried on Resurrection Island in the Aral Sea. This was thought to be the safest way to dispose of them.
Is the Russian military living up to its renewed promise to abandon bioweapons? Maybe not. In 2006, former KGB agent and vocal Putin critic Alexander Litvinenko was poisoned with polonium, a rare radioactive bioweapon. Also in the UK in 2018, Sergei Skripal, a former Russian military officer turned double agent for the British, was poisoned, along with his daughter Yulia, with a bioagent. So the Russian bioweapon program may be alive and well, and still super secret.
In 2016, biologists were able to test tissue from the victims and map the genome of the anthrax that killed them. Good news, it was not re-engineered into some crazy superbug. It could be treated if you caught it early enough.
So it's just your everyday, run-of-the-mill, super deadly anthrax. I guess it's better than the alternative.
You're not wrong.
There's a chance the Knights of Malta made it to Oak Island.
Where are we most likely to bring up a piece of treasure? Chef 6.
The Curse of Oak Island. All new Sunday at 10 on the History Channel. Stream on Stack TV and the Global TV app.
I was leaving work. Out of nowhere, this beautiful beam of light shined towards me. It was huge inside, full of futuristic technology.
As it whisked me away, a sense of calm washed over me.
It's monitoring the world around us.
It took me to distant worlds, thousands of kilometers away.
And before I knew it, I was downtown.
The new 2025 Subaru Crosstrek.
I was
The true urban
downtown.
legend.
Crazy
Is
woman.
your garden trying to tell you something? Listen closely. Do you hear it? Your plants are hungry. Sunlight and water aren't enough. So feed them Miracle Grow Shake and Feed. It provides the nutrients your plants need
Ruth
to grow
is sick
bigger
again?
and stronger.
Yeah.
Satisfy your garden's hunger with Miracle Grow Shake and Feed. Hungry plants crave Miracle Grow.
At No Frills, we're here to help you save money.
Didn't I just see you buy these?
She did this slowly.
Savings too hot
This
to handle.
time
It's the No Frills thing today.
she was back and forth again to America to wear. She don't need to do that.
He did it again. Yeah, poor guy. No.
Navaza.
Welcome to another day of no good food. Jerks. Smells like their bountiful meal kits are still making mealtime easy for everyone. Except for me. Screw you, freshness.
When we work to end inequity, we help start something better. Support and even the odds.
Kai. No way. Why would I use kayak to compare hundreds of travel sites at once? I like to do things myself. I do my own searching just to be efficient. Use kayak. I can't trust anything else to do the job right.
Kayak. Search one and done.
Introducing Burger King's new fiery menu. Taste our mild fiery strawberry and Sprite, our medium fiery chicken fries, or our signature fiery bacon whopper. Turn up the heat. The all-new fiery menu is here.
Everybody wants super straight, super white teeth. They want that Hollywood white smile. New Sensodyne Clinical White provides 2 shades wetter teeth and 24/7 sensitivity protection. I think it's a great product. It's going to help a lot of patients.
Now it's time for our regular secret weapons feature. This is where we take a close look at some of history's game-changing military tech.
And the footage you're about to see will make you ask, what is this monster raining hellfire down on the enemy?
You're looking at footage from a gun-sighting camera over Afghanistan in 2012. U.S. airmen from Special Operations Command circle above a Taliban stronghold. The mission? Seek and destroy high-value enemy targets.
She can
The
destroy.
airborne platform? An old standby. The AC-130 gunship.
The AC-130 is typically used by special forces and is usually operated in close air support, or CAS, known as CAS.
Hi, Boss Bing!
Within minutes
Morning
of the
sa'yo.
AC-130's arrival,
Pinsan
we
kong
see an
maganda.
enemy vehicle in the
Thank you,
crosshairs of
Pinsan.
American firepower.
Thank you. Gumawa ako ng ano, ito. Pang lagay ko dito.
Vehicles attempt to speed away from the blast, but they're too late. The targeting system effortlessly tracks them on the move and fires with devastating effect. And this gunship can take out more than vehicles. It can annihilate entire buildings.
the amount of firepower coming down and the explosions all around you, it's got to be completely overwhelming. It's just death raining down from above.
So, what do videos like this reveal about the AC-130 gunship?
I gotta say, it looks a little whack, but there's a method to this madness. First, you gotta check out this part. Those are its guns, and as it comes into that bank, oh man, things are about to get heavy.
And brother, it may look a little weird, but this is a 105 Mike howitzer artillery from the sky. I'll tell you what, having one of these bad bears on your side redefines BFF.
Now, to get at how this thing does its thing, we turn back to our experts.
This video is revealing because it's so steady. At first glance, you might think it's from a chopper or a hovering drone. But it's actually the AC-130 performing a maneuver called a pylon turn, which keeps it focused on the target for an extended period of time.
It's able to maintain its weapon's stability with the use of gyroscopes. While the AC-130 is circling and traveling at speed, they're also able to put rounds on target with extreme accuracy as well.
The rounds this gunship can put on target come from a dizzying array of weapons. We'll start with the little one, so to speak, a 25mm Gatling gun. Nicknamed the Equalizer, this 5-barreled gun can fire 1,800 rounds a minute. Moving on and up in caliber, we have a 40 Mike cannon. It serves up as many as 120 rounds a minute. And before taking to the skies, this weapon started out life as an anti-aircraft gun.
While I was in Afghanistan, the AC-130 was always there and could aid us in neutralizing targets.
As we were just showing you, the 105 rounds out the caliber of ammunition this deadly machine delivers. Once upon a war, this cannon was a terrestrial light towable field artillery piece. In the aerial realm, it can blast out as many as 10 shells a minute.
The blast of what you're seeing is just a portion of the area that could kill you. There's shrapnel coming from every one of those rounds that flies out much, much further than each one of the visual blasts on the screen.
Wow, the sheer freaking power. A whole different kind of beast. Swoops in low, hovers, circles like a dragon, locks in on targets, and bang, bang, bang.
And it's the precision that gets me. There's really no enemy on the ground that can match this thing. It's impressive.
But unfortunately, as Afghanistan shows, sometimes you can show up with the right weaponry, the right training, and win battle after battle, but still not win a war.
I don't have leaves.
That's our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. Remember, keep your powder dry.
And your head on a swivel. Good night.
The following program is available with described video.
According to Gauss's law, how can the point charge value of a spatial charge distribution be found? One, by the closed surface integral of the electric flux for an existing body. Absolutely correct. And that's the way. In the solenoid coil force formula, what is the magnetic constant? That's alphabetic.
12 pi times 10 to the negative 7.
Nicely done. In relativistic electrodynamics, what quantity must replace the classical field vector? 3. The electromagnetic tensor. I'm sorry, I'm looking for something a little more specific. I know this.
In CIA.
With my friends for science fair, because we're kind of going as like a collective group.
Martin's doing?
She's kicking physical therapy's butt for the next 6 months.
3 car lengths back to run into the leader, spin him out, barely make the corner. It was rightly penalized by NASCAR. That's part of the storyline. We have to tell the story. But I would also say this. I feel like a lot of lessons were learned in that 100%. And the growth that we've seen since then and the mentality, I'd be shocked if we see anything like that again.
No, I mean, this is such a different style of racing than what we see in Martinsville. But I think those two guys have worked it out. They've been friends for a long time. They have a little bit of a history together. And Sammy admitted, I mean, fully admitted, he's, look, I was in the wrong, and what I saw outside of my windshield looked different than what we saw on TV. He's like, you know, I felt like at Martinsville, for the 2-3 races prior to that I got used up. And he's like, I had the mentality heading into the weekend that I wasn't going to let that happen again. And he said, I made a bad decision and I got over aggressive. But the most important thing, I think, is you admit that if you're in the wrong, which...
That we've ever done. Yeah.
Yay.
Oh, okay. I'm Kimberly Carnahan. I live with my senior young.
Have a mudroom. So the front entrance, everyone just takes off their jackets, plops their shoes down. Hey, Brandon, can you help? Brandon's ice hockey equipment, our soccer equipment, our ice hockey equipment, our jogger is just...
Newark, Delaware today. Joining us now, the Democratic Governor of Delaware, Matt Meyer. Governor, thanks so much for your time this evening. We really appreciate it. I know that you were at a protest in Rehoboth Beach today. How do these protests translate into action, into things actually changing?
Well, Jessica, first of all, it's incredible to see Americans truly rising up. This is a country of people. Ultimately, all of us as elected officials will respond to the people. In Rehoboth, there were over 1,000 people there. Delaware's not that big. That's like half of our population here. It was incredible.
Hi,
You mentioned Newark as well and across the state. It translates into action because ultimately, if we don't have support of the people, whatever we're proposing is not going to happen, ultimately. And the people are reminding us of that. So I think it's really important.
And look, protesters are looking to Democrats to act. You are obviously a sitting Democratic governor. What role are you all, as Democratic governors currently in office, playing in the party right now?
Well, look, tomorrow night, when the Delawareans and Americans sit down for their Easter dinner or to break the 8 days of Passover, when they sit down, the price of eggs on their table is going to be more expensive than it's ever been. The price of meat is going to be more expensive than it's ever been. American families, working families, good, often 2 working parent families are getting crunched and squeezed. And so I think when people are like, what's the future of the party? What's the future of the country? Whoever can stand up and deliver, truly deliver solutions to those very real problems, Democrat or Republican, is, I think, the idea and the individuals that are going to emerge from our current situation.
Do Democrats have the right message right now? Can they connect with voters?
I think, listen, I think the Republican Party has turned into a following of one person. If the person says one day we need to tariff everyone, then that party, their policy is to tariff everyone. If the next day he says the policy is a 90-day pause, the Republican Party's platform is a 90-day pause. The Democratic Party is more a party of the people. The people control. So when you talk about message, it can be what I was talking about today, which a lot of it was about that I was an AmeriCorps member 25 years ago. I was in a program called Teach for America.
Risk and severity of high-speed collisions, keeping our communities safer. But on this street, residents disagree.
You're just penalizing people instead of actually putting in safety measures. So put actual systems in to prevent the speeding as opposed to just catching people when they're doing it.
Golizada says the answer to the problem is very simple.
It's prioritizing pedestrians, it's prioritizing all road users, not just motorists, not designing streets like urban highways running through residential neighborhoods. Like, that's unacceptable.
According to the city, it doesn't own any of the automated speed cameras. That means it's the vendor's responsibility to replace or fix the devices and to report serious incidents of vandalism to Toronto police. On Parkside Drive, Rianne Campbell, City News.
Hundreds of volunteers, including Premier Doug Ford, took time out of their long weekend to pitch in at the Daily Bread Food Bank today for their annual spring food sort. This comes on the heels of Toronto's mayor declaring food insecurity an emergency in the city earlier this year.
Today is such a great expression of people who care about the community. There are 200 families who have said, listen, on our long weekend, instead of resting and relaxing, we are going to work for the community. And so for them to feed the need now and then work alongside the Premier and the Mayor and say, hey, how do we fix this systemically, I think is absolutely wonderful.
It's about sorting food, it's about helping people in need, but it's also about building relationships. And it's, I love coming in with public food sorts. It's so many people from the community, and it's just uplifting at a time when we all need it.
Now, before the pandemic, this location saw 60,000 Torontonians, and now we see 330,000 every single month. You know, the acute shock of tariffs coming, and when that happens, and when hard times happens for Toronto, Daily Bread's here.
I want to thank everyone for coming out on such a special occasion. You know, this helps families that need a little hand up, and each and every one of you are contributing.
What you're doing is so heartwarming because it is something distinctly Canadian.
Daily Bread is, not only is it an extremely important organization that's supporting a lot of people.
Durch Baum rein und ja, die Landschaft zu strukturieren und das geht halt nicht auf Pachtland. Ich würde gerne Land kaufen, ich würde dann sagen, da machen wir ein Millionär.
Around the world, there are plenty of millionaires and billionaires eager
Wow.
to invest in land ownership. Bill Gates is the biggest private owner of farmland in America.
Wow.
In 2023, he was reported to own around 270,000 acres across 18 states, while Ted Turner owns over 2 million acres of ranch land.
We live in a world in which, for the most part, private individuals, private corporations formally own most of the land, then that land is increasingly held by fewer and fewer people.
In the United States in 1935, there were nearly 7 million individually owned farms. In the 90 years since, that number has dropped to just 2 million. And with fewer farms, production is concentrated in fewer hands. Just 3% of all farms are now responsible for over half of all U.S. agricultural output. And around the world, just 1% of farms operate 70% of total farmland.
So contemporary land ownership is dominated by individuals and corporations. And one of the things that's interesting about the 21st century, particularly in the developed countries, is that if anything, land concentration is getting more pronounced, not less pronounced.
In Germany, the concentration of land ownership is accelerating. Since 2000, the number of farms has been cut by almost half. So what's driving this consolidation of land into fewer and fewer hands?
Ich heiße Heiko Wöllert, ich bin Milchbauer, habe hier einen kleinen Milchviehbetrieb, 32 Hektar, wir melken 5 Kühe, 40 Ziegen, verkaufen den Käse hier direkt, haben großen Zuspruch, glücklicherweise.
He was a member of a small farmers association and has made it his business to find out what's driving the concentration of land ownership locally.
Wir haben seit der Weltwirtschaftskrise 2008, 2009 kaum noch alle Möglichkeiten fürs Kapital, also alle möglichen Blasen sind geplatzt, die Dotcom-Blase, die Immobilienblase. Das heißt, für Kapital, was irgendwie Sicherheit sucht, gibt es kaum noch Möglichkeiten.
Hey, sir. We searched the vehicle, found that there was nothing illegal in it. He's legally here, so these are your documents back. Strongly advise you that you make sure to keep yourself out of trouble. Right? That's it. Thank you. Have a good day.
At O'Hare International Airport.
What is this? Alright, I asked you before if you had any meat products.
Officers discovered undeclared meat in this U.S. resident's luggage.
We had some fresh leaves that were wrapped with sausage and pork products, and then we found some dry beef.
And the search continues.
Squid? Oh yeah, it's the whole thing, okay.
Oh, wow. What is that? Came from Philippines?
Yeah, that's fine.
Seafood is allowed, as long as it's not from an endangered species.
This contains pork. Well, I get all ready for cooking it. It doesn't matter. So the only way to bring the meat to the U.S. is in a can. This is, I really don't know about it. I have to dry food on dry food, so it doesn't say anything about dry food, cooked food. It says food.
Honesty is very important. He was being evasive in his answers, and he was trying to circumvent U.S. law to bring us food, which we do find often. Okay, sir, so at this point, with everything that we have going on, you are going to receive a penalty today of $300 for failure to declare the food properly, okay? We can finish packing up what you have here, and we'll be underway momentarily, okay?
Oh, he gave it to him, baby?
The meat was destroyed. You're allowed the seafood.
At Detroit Metropolitan Airport.
Why did you come to the United States today?
A Chinese traveler on a U.S. visitor visa says she's here to stay with her American boyfriend for 5 months.
She's on a one-way ticket. I could tell that something was up. What's your boyfriend's phone number? I need you to get it for me. A lot of times people come here and they're lying for a reason. You have to figure out why they're not being upfront with the truth. Hi, this is Customs and Border Protection. How are you today?
The officer calls the traveler's boyfriend to verify her story.
How long will she be staying in the United States? When do you plan on getting married? When I spoke with her boyfriend, he kind of gave me the rest of the story. He is proposing to her. She does know about the ring, but he wants her here to live with him right now. If I have any more questions for you, I'm going to give you a call back. Nice talking with you. All right. His intentions is for her to never leave, and she cannot do that. From talking with your fiance, which is pretty much what he is to you, it looks like you are not traveling on the correct visa. You can't use a B1, B2 visa and live here. And that's what you're doing, okay? You were just here, you stayed 3-4 months. Before that, you were here, and now you're back for another 5-6 months. I'm gonna get an interpreter. We started getting more in depth into the interview. I figured, yeah, we better get somebody to help out. You speak Mandarin? Yes. Okay, have a seat. Ma'am? Power that off. No phones back here. Okay, crack it.
I'm not.
Oh, wow. It's popping and it's hot. Oh my God, that's so good.
This spring, only on Flavor Network.
No phone allowed.
Calma, tranquillo. Quello che allora facciamo è con Hostess, cavolo.
Oh!
Mozzarella.
Oh my God!
Bouncing on the puck here.
dishes back. Pion finds it into traffic. Gets it back. Pion cross ice. Niederreiter shooting. Buchnevich lost his stick and the puck comes out to center ice.
Bless you, baby.
They're going to switch it up as Pion idles in his own zone. Pion passes it. He stays on the ice for now. Scheifele over to Perfetti. Now Pion switching to Morrissey who gets the puck over to IFL.
If you notice, folks, when Jack Tracy keeps singing along by himself, I'd like to ask you to sing a little soft. If the union ever catches you here singing along, I guess I'll have to pay an extra scale for that. You think they can't hear me? On with the show, Dick Kessner and Stradivarius with a beautiful waltz that has been a favorite for sentimental occasions for many, many years. I love you truly.
Exactly like what I'm involved with. Emily Heim is a mother of two. She says in 2021, Chatham was buzzing about incredible returns being offered by a local referral-only investment club called Banknote Capital.
Who was it that came to you and told you that this could be a great way to make some money?
It was my father.
Your dad?
Yeah, very selfish money. He's a businessman, so I really trusted him.
So what's the total number of people?
Well, there was like 125 that were invested, right?
Her dad invested $250,000, and Emily borrowed against her house to invest $100,000. They were promised returns of an astounding 10% a week.
It was my first time ever investing, right? So it was a huge deal for me. It wasn't money we just had sitting in an account. It was money we were borrowing.
The face of Banknote Capital, Ryan Rumble, who just like Aiden Platursky, lives large and in luxury.
Everyone talked about him driving around in the Lamborghini. He had Teslas. He had this big house in Farmington Estates with a mansion, golfs with a private golf club, and traveling all over the world. Everyone would be like, I don't know how he's making the money.
According to claims in a class action lawsuit launched by Emily Heim, Banknote Capital collected nearly $14 million and transferred nearly a third of it, $4 million, to Aiden Platursky to invest.
So I had no idea really anything about, like I said, investing. I'm just kind of trusting from what my dad said.
Emily was told to drop her investment off at this house.
It just seemed so odd that I walked up to somebody's door and just handed them $100,000. And I remember calling my dad and like panicking in tears and saying, I think I just did something wrong.
Well,
This is who Emily dropped that money off to. Brock Tedford, seen here on a business trip in Dubai with his boss, Ryan Rumble.
He's ruined lives. If I stood by and did nothing, I'm just as bad as him.
For 2 years, Brock Tedford worked with Ryan Rumble at Banknote and a spin-off called First Class Capital. And now, in a television exclusive, he is publicly blowing the whistle on what he claims he uncovered from the inside.
At what moment did you realize there is something that just does not smell right here?
Ryan had this pitch deck made. and he was claiming to have managed money for Kevin O'Leary, Michelle Romanow, Galen Weston Jr. of Loblaws, and banknotes managing over $100 million USD, and I seen that and what's happening here.
Tedford knew these celebrities had nothing to do with Banknote, and that the cash figures were wildly inflated. It was then, he claims, that he began secretly compiling incriminating emails and files to bring down Ryan Rumble and his company, Banknote.
I went and sat beside the guy every single day for months, and I had to act like he was my best friend, and meanwhile, I just wanted to fight him.
Tedford says when investors started clamoring for their money back, Ryan Rumble told him Banknote couldn't pay out. Why? Because of Aidan Platursky's bankruptcy.
I know Aidan only had like 4.5. So where the heck is the other like 8 million, right? Where's it all at?
Emily started to get suspicious when updates stopped.
There was always some kind of excuse as to why we weren't getting updates. There was no communication from Banknote for a while as to why we weren't receiving updates.
125 investors are now named in the class action suit. And Brock Tedford has handed over hundreds of files to the Ontario Securities Commission.
I kind of thought it would be like a movie where these guys haul it, get down here, and have this guy in cuffs the next day. Nothing has happened.
Tedford says he's speaking out now because so many in his community have lost so much.
These are people that work their butt off every single day and their hands are bleeding when they get home. And hey, they've managed to save up this nest egg, and this Ryan guy gave him a shot. And they're like, wow, this is the ticket to a better life for me, my kids, my grandkids, everyone. Here you go, man. And now these people have lost life savings. So many lives have been impacted and honestly ruined by not just Banknote and Ryan, but so many other people. Like Aidan Platursky, for example, like he did this to so many people. And just nothing happens.
There is now a warrant out for Ryan Rumble's arrest because he ignored a court order to hand over his passport. Instead, he fled to Dubai. And just like his associate Aidan Platursky, he has now been forced into bankruptcy.
We haven't gotten any empathy. We haven't gotten any remorse.
The city hates him. Nobody wants anything to do with him. But the thing is, he is the greatest snake oil salesman of all time.
Coming up, Trash Labo. The lure of fast profit.
We're just impressed by the money that they were throwing around, the yachts and the boats and the cars.
When W5 continues.
This again? Must have pulled something working out.
It's your mattress. It's impacting your sleep. Stop blaming everything else. Right now, get up to 15% off almost everything. The time to switch event is on now, only at Sleep Country. This Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has wavy edges. It's no ordinary square. Charmin Ultra Soft Smooth Tear has wavy perforations that tear so much better, with more cushiony softness. Enjoy the go with Charmin. Drink in summer with Tim's new Frozen Quenchers, an icy blend.
Someone else complained about their healthcare system would make you appreciate wait times. Now, I love visiting the U.S. as much as the next guy who loves cheese in a spray can. But lately, it's getting risky. The travel advisories are starting to feel like the kind of vague warnings you get before walking into a haunted house. Enter at your own risk, may contain ghosts, guns, or gluten. Canadians used to cross the border for gas and outlet malls. Now it's more like, I'm going in. If I don't make it back, tell Tim Hortons I love them. It's wild. No one thought it would come to this. America used to be the neighbor with the trampoline and the pool. Now it's the neighbor who yells at squirrels and thinks the earth is flat because it just feels flatter lately. But traveling the world safely, that's the key. It builds empathy. It brings harmony. It's like the Beatles. They made magic together. Then they split up and we got a few decent solo albums and one song where Ringo lets us know he can't no more. Because he's tired of waking up on the floor.
The cell service is much worse.
But what about me?
What about you?
What if his stomach needs me or something? Or, I don't know, something big goes down.
Can I please just talk to Mr. Scott?
Look, just stay away from...
alcoholics can be on this medication far more safely than methadone or other opioids, right? And it's actually much easier to taper because it's only stimulating.
I hear that.
Who give as little as $19 a month.
There are no victims here. No one has suffered my farts.
Be a part of something amazing.
Not injured anyone.
Pretty good head start, 4 of them. But that's not going to do it. You're going to need more than that. Let's get 3 more consonants and 1 more vowel.
C, P, M,
And a vowel.
O.
All right. Those are really nice letters, and they appear in a lot of puzzles.
Fiddle of
This
the-
doesn't happen to be one of them. You'll notice Van is just standing there. So I don't know what to say other than stranger things have happened. It's a phrase. There's a used letterboard. Maybe that can help you to get some thoughts.
You should have her job, Vanna White.
Blade.
You could do her job.
Which one?
Her job. Vanna White stands there, turns the letters over.
Yeah?
Yep.
Oh, you weren't even.
She's been doing that a long time.
Quite alike.
Yeah. Well, we have to look in there. It's only it's a fake number. It doesn't mean these actually go off. She's got $21,650 real dollars.
$21,000. That's fine.
Think you have what it takes to be a contestant? Apply on WheelOfFortune.com.
I have a fun fact, and I just checked the math. Absolutely true.
Tell me.
You took every human in the world, nearly 8 billion people, gave them each a 6x6 plot of land, enough to lie down in, have a little hibachi, you know. It would be a great life, but there you are. You could fit the entire population of the world in the state of Maryland. Look it up, it's true.
Wow.
Bus service would be slow, but we'll see you next time for more fun facts. Or not. Goodbye.
Promotional consideration provided by University of Maryland Global Campus. Visit umgc.edu.
No application fee if you apply by May 30th at University of Maryland Global Campus. An accredited university
Well, you're
that has
just come
transformed
keep me
the Global
warm.
Arts for more than 75
Oh,
years.
honey.
You're not waiting to win. You're ready to succeed again at umgc.edu.
Skating for over 45 years has taken a toll on my body.
We gotta
I
go
take
down.
Genol turmeric because
Down.
Jackpot prizes.
Ads for high blood pressure.
I should probably toss more money in because these guys are getting huge returns on their money if they're buying friggin' McLaren straight out. I was just impressed by the money that they were throwing around and the stories he was telling me about the yachts and the boats and the cars.
Over 4 months in the summer of 2021, Sutherland handed over $270,000.
I knew the money was going to Aiden initially, yes, because Colin said that he was transferring it to the main guy.
Sutherland believed he was making big returns from reports given over WhatsApp messages. According to Murphy, in December, his $270,000 investment more than doubled. In January, that investment soared to $711,000. In February, Sutherland asked for $150,000 back, and he got a check from Aiden Platursky's company, AP Private Equities. And by March of 2022, Sutherland was told that the $120,000 he had left invested was now worth over $878,000.
Wow.
These guys obviously had some big money.
But then, like the others, the updates slowed down.
And then when the communication started to slow down and there was no more discussion on the percentage of earnings that I was making, that's when I started to get bothered and worried a little bit.
Sutherland wanted to cash out. He even contacted Platursky directly for the money.
I definitely researched and found out a phone number for Aiden and texted him and told him that he needed to square up with me because Colin was blaming him for losing my money.
Frustrated, Sutherland launched a civil suit against Colin Murphy, citing fraud, and he won. But he hasn't seen a penny. And now Colin Murphy is the first of Platursky's circle to face jail time. Not for alleged fraud, but for what happened here. W5 has obtained this video of a search to seize
But
Murphy's
after
assets,
one cash
including
out,
phones
they're gone.
and computers. The person knocking on the front door is fraud recovery lawyer Norman Groot.
Are there any weapons in the house?
No, man, I'm not a criminal. This is
With him is Keith Elliott, a private investigator and financial fraud examiner.
There are no weapons in the
how many
house.
times I would say.
We sat down with Elliott to review the search video, which has become a critical piece of evidence. In the search, Colin Murphy hands over what he claims is his only phone.
And you're asking specific questions to Colin about how many cell phones he has.
Yep.
What's the point of that?
So we knew from the intelligence that we had gathered earlier that he had a minimum of 3 devices.
Watch the right-hand part of the screen. You can just see Colin Murphy. He goes into a bathroom that's out of frame. He stays there for about 5 minutes.
He comes out of the bathroom, you're now back in the kitchen, search is about to begin. Where's the first place that you're going to go?
I want continuity straight on that bathroom, which is the last point I saw Colin.
Elliott searches the garbage inside the cupboards, and then he strikes gold.
James, I found a cell phone hidden in the bathroom.
So you pull out the plunger caddy, peel back the layer of rubber.
And there's a phone right there.
What's going through your mind when you found this?
Here's one of the missing phones, right? So here's the smoking gun.
Colin, do you want to explain that one in the bathroom, or you want to hit it in the bathroom yourself?
Murphy grabs the phone and refuses to hand it over.
Colin, you guys are going to take that.
Well, he's gonna call his lawyer.
No, he's not going to take that.
He's allowed to.
No, he's not allowed to take that, man.
Colin, turn over the phone. There's a court order, Colin.
Are you allowed to be physical?
No, we're not going to be physical, Colin, but this is actually very serious. Colin, the consequence is that this is all being filmed, and that a judge is going to watch this standoff over your phone. Contempt of court is a serious matter, right? This kind of contempt of court will land you in jail. But now what you've done is you try to conceal it.
The standoff ends when Colin Murphy allows Elliott's team to document the apps on the phone, and with his promise that he'll hand it over to the courthouse the next day. Murphy did that, but according to the evidence, the phone had been wiped.
Oh,
What
shit.
information was potentially lost?
Everything that was on that phone. So those 47 apps are all gone. Those applications could be banking information, they could be digital wallets, they could be crypto.
I thought they are already clever.
They're stupid fuckers, aren't they? Let them have the phone.
Why they don't bring the phone and then let him come?
They're stupid fucking people.
That at one point,
I could do their job better than they do.
in a crypto wallet. So, I mean, that's money stashed out that's untraceable. So I'm sure he's still got the funds sitting somewhere.
When Colin Murphy showed up for his
They're
court
a
date in
lawyer,
Oshawa,
they're
they were waiting
detective,
for
but
him.
they're police, but
Where's the Porsche? and the
their
Lamborghini?
brain is not enough.
What's so funny? Where's the Lamborghini? I heard it was at your grandpa's house.
And go look.
I don't know why you think this is all so funny.
Well, I'm glad you got the whole story and you don't know what an allegation is.
Well, let me ask you this. There are a lot of people whose lives have been really destroyed by investing with you. What do you have to say to them?
What are you invested in?
Do you have any kind of remorse for the people whose lives have been destroyed by this? Yeah? No? You could face jail time today. You could go to jail. Are you prepared for that?
In January of 2024, Colin Murphy was found in contempt of court for refusing to hand over his phone and for destroying evidence. He could spend even more time in jail if he doesn't hand over his Lamborghini and the deleted data, which could include crypto wallets.
I just wanted to make sure that this doesn't happen again. He's going to get what he deserves in the end, and that's for sure. That's all I want, is to see what he gets, what he deserves.
Up next, what they're trying to say is I stole money.
Will justice be served?
Needs to know what's coming in terms of consequences.
When W5 continues.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. I'm craving the ceramides and CeraVe. CeraVe with 3 essential ceramides helps restore my skin barrier, and I can lock in moisture for up to 48 hours. CeraVe moisturizers.
And now introducing new CeraVe Anti-Dandruff Hair Care.
For many years, we've given our fine Lindt chocolate a very special shape. And when you ring the bell, something very special may happen.
Make Easter moments magical with the Gold Bunny from Lindt.
The DQ freezer is opening again for our 85th birthday to bring back our most wished for blizzard flavor. It's the confetti cake blizzard treat, filled with confetti cake pieces and confetti frosting. Don't be late to the party. Grab yours before the DQ freezer closes.
Where does the journey to change begin? At Silk, we believe it starts with plants. Right here is carefully crafted here, so it can be tastier here. At Silk, our journey to be better starts with the changes we make and strive for every day. Silk, better every day. On a distant world, you face the enemy. In all the wild, we're vacuuming. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen.
That is only laundry soap. Laundry
The
soap.
federal election is on Monday, April 28th. You can vote early. Advanced polls will be open April 18th to 21st. If you prefer, you can vote at any Elections Canada office until Tuesday, April 22nd, 6 p.m., or you can apply to vote by mail. Check your voter information card or visit elections.ca for all the ways you can vote. It's our vote.
For the official information you need to vote, visit elections.ca or call 1-800-463-6868.
Welcome to Jackpot City. Enjoy classic casino games such as blackjack or take a spin with roulette. Explore our exciting virtual range of the best slots, including the Jackpot City exclusive Mega Millionaire Wheel. Jackpot City casino games perfectly made for you.
Between 2020 and 2022, this trio from Ontario collected at least $55 million from trusting investors who believed they could make them rich. None of them had a trading license or were registered with the
Oshawa,
Ontario
Chatham,
Securities Commission.
Whitby. They're all from Ontario here.
Dubbed the Crypto King, is accused of fraud, including breach of contract and conversion.
What's conversion? Conversion. The act of taking someone else's property without their consent. So basically what they're trying to say is I stole money?
In August of 2022, Platursky was forced into bankruptcy. His creditors have been lining up to collect the assets he has left. Meanwhile, Platursky is traveling the world, flaunting his adventures.
I'm not hiding anything from these guys. I've opened all my books up to them. I don't have anything to hide because the thing is, I know I can trade. I know I'm a good day trader. I know I'm a good investor. I know where to invest money. I know how to invest money. I know how to raise money. I know how to collect money. Right? Like, I'm not going to go run off because if I was going to run off, I'm going to be honest with you. I would have stayed in Australia. I would have stayed in the UK. I would have stayed in the US. I would have left a long time ago. Like, if anybody asks, we're vlogging.
He can't miss Aiden Platursky now because he's all over the place streaming his whereabouts.
To me, it almost seems like a desperate way to protect himself.
Anna lost $75,000 investing with Platursky. She thinks he's in danger. We agreed to hide her identity.
He doesn't know what's coming in terms of
I'd kill
consequences. He
him.
doesn't know that his life can be, in danger and should he go to jail because he has so much information on all these other people that he's been working with.
The public sees Aiden Platursky as sort of the kingpin in all of this.
He's not. I just don't see a 22-year-old kid, which is what he was at the time, thinking up of this grand plan of how we're going to go after these millionaires, billionaires, people who have decades of very successful business experience.
Platursky has already faced danger, tortured and beaten in a 3-day kidnapping. And he claimed people tried to extort money from him at the mansion he used to rent. What did Aiden tell you about the extortion attempts against him?
He was saying that these people would show up at his house, threatened to go after his family and to hurt his individual family members. They would find out where the family lives. At a certain point, he had to get professional security to protect himself.
Platursky was forced to give up the mansion as part of the bankruptcy. The owner put it on the market, and in May of 2023, it sold for $8.4 million to the NBA's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The pro bowler was then shocked when he started getting harassed and threatened at the mansion by people looking for Platursky. In fear, Gilgeous-Alexander moved out and took the seller to court to void the sale. He won. Our team has been digging into the original owner of the mansion, a man named Sandeep Gupta.
In the basketball case, the judge mentions the relationship between Sandeep Gupta and Aiden Platursky. Curious and complex.
It was and is a curious and complex relationship. We know that Sandeep Gupta was not only the landlord of this mansion where Aiden was staying and renting, but he also provided him with lawyers, and Aiden called Sandeep a mentor.
I know when the crypto market started to crash, Sandeep Gupta was the one that was giving Aiden advice about how to diversify his investments and things like that.
I don't know how many landlords actually get calls from tenants who are kidnapped, but Aiden Platursky called Sandeep Gupta again and again, begging for him to come up with $3 million for the ransom.
And we know that he didn't pay the $3 million.
Right, but then he was dropped off near Sandeep Gupta's house, right?
Yeah, 3 days after.
W5 has reached out to Sandeep Gupta for comment several times with no response.
I think that the people who are so busy paying for his expenses, they're the real risk.
Your theory is that the people who are now bankrolling him are doing so because he's not yet been arrested. But the minute he gets arrested, he now has a lot of information on people who may be above him,
yes,
and that puts his life at risk.
Yes, I'm really interested in these other people who were in his orbit.
While Emma believes Aiden Platursky's live streams are a desperate way to protect himself,
So let's go, bro. How's the streaming going?
we've learned people in Aiden's orbit are
He's a
frightened,
YouTuber.
and at least one has ended up dead.
So much the coverage has been about these young kids with all this huge wealth. But somebody in Aiden's circle, your son, is dead.
The rest of them are still alive.
Tracy Collins lost her son Clayton Soika in March of 2023. When Platursky was released from the kidnapping, one of the people he turned to was her son, a 25-year-old model and influencer from Toronto, also known for his ties to the Biebers, even attending a wedding for Justin Bieber's father in 2018.
Clayton was worried about Aiden.
Tracy says shortly after Platursky's kidnapping, her son came to her with wild stories.
Clay comes to you and says, a friend of mine has been kidnapped. What did he tell you about that kidnapping?
He said that there were videos that were sent of, the torture and stuff.
He was sent the video of Aiden's abduction and torture?
Yes. A bunch of people were apparently.
What did he say was on that video?
He was talking about there was water torture, there was hog tying, there was shooting a gun near his head, he was in the back of the truck.
This video, leaked on social media, doesn't show any of that. But Clayton told his mom he had seen the unedited version and knew who was behind the kidnapping.
Do you think that your son was in fear as well because of what happened to Aiden?
You said these are bad people. I said, well, Clayton, why would they share this with you? Don't you feel like scared? And he said, no, I'm protected because I know too much.
They're
If you know
beautiful.
too much, are you safe?
They're beautiful.
Not really. You're a liability.
Clayton never sent his mother the video, but he did send her images like this of the two young men on a video chat, apparently right after Platursky was waterboarded. Clayton also told his mom Aiden was here for a month and went into hiding. 2 days after that message, Clayton was dead.
That was a very hard day.
Police told Tracy that his death was a suicide and that shortly after, someone broke into his apartment.
Within hours, his phone and computer are stolen from the apartment. It doesn't make sense how would everybody know he was dead that quickly? And then two, they know he's dead and they need to get in the apartment and take his stuff.
Tracy knew little about her son's circle. She knew he struggled with drugs and mental health.
He knew a lot of bad people, I think.
She was surprised to learn that police quickly recovered her son's electronics, now being kept as evidence in Platursky's kidnapping. She was also surprised at the police presence at her son's funeral.
The funeral was just ridiculous. There were 5 security guards, the police, the undercover police there.
What were the police doing at the funeral?
They were watching everything. Like one was taking pictures of the cars, the parking lot, their license plates, and then the other one would point out sometimes if there was somebody of interest, and I would bring them downstairs with them so they could interview them.
The police are actually interviewing people at Clay's funeral?
Yeah. None of it made sense at all.
In the wake of her son's death, Tracy desperately searched for answers and contacted Clayton's friends. Many didn't reply, but Aiden Platursky, who was at the funeral, did.
That's his response.
I do not know exactly what happened simply because I wasn't there. And quite frankly, I don't believe what anybody tells me unless I witness something for myself.
And so it almost sounded like he had questions too, but he had no answers.
Tracy says police told her to stop texting her son's circle, that some are dangerous people.
Am I scared? Yes. Do I want answers? Yes. I don't need to know anybody's name. I don't need to know anything like that. I want my son's stuff back and put this to rest.
We asked Toronto police about Clayton Soyka's death. In a statement, they told us they are not investigating it and that it was deemed non-suspicious. As for Clayton's electronics, police say any evidence related to this case will be presented in court. Toronto police have charged 5 people in the kidnapping of Aiden Platursky, including one of his investors, a man named Akil Haywood.
He really is an interesting character on a number of different fronts.
We've been digging into his background.
I think this is wild that one of Aiden's investors is now up on charges accused of kidnapping Akil Haywood.
Yeah, he says he's completely innocent and he said he had nothing to do with it.
How much did he invest?
$740,000, yeah. And we also know that he has a long list of drug-related charges.
And he spent like over 4 years in jail. They weren't minor charges.
Listen, I'm gonna come back, alright?
While W5 has learned there is a joint task force investigating Platursky, both the Durham Regional Police and the Ontario Securities Commission have refused to comment.
What do you make of the fact that Platursky is live streaming every night talking about this as though he doesn't have a care in the world?
A concern of mine is that there's a lack of deterrence,
So what is
a lack
it?
of consequence through the criminal system. Doesn't believe that whatever
It's
happens
like
to him in the criminal
Pinocchio.
system is going to be
Big nose.
sufficiently harsh enough
Pointed and big.
stop his
Why
behavior.
me? It's too small.
Criminal justice system is
overworked
Your nose is
and
perfect.
underfunded. So-called white-collar fraud, people losing money that may have not been entitled to that money to begin with, is low on the threshold when it comes to the process.
I had so much pride to the point where I didn't tell anybody that I was losing money. Right? I didn't tell anybody that I was losing any money. Unfortunately. If I spoke up a little bit earlier, you know, everything would be a lot different right now.
Victims in Platursky's bankruptcy have only recovered $3.15 million of the over $40 million they reported he collected. For Anna, that means just $3,000, a fraction of the $75,000 she handed him.
Do you think that most people are still holding out hope?
I think that a lot of people are still holding out hope. Maybe a miracle will happen. I don't have faith because I already see what the system is like and what it's designed to protect.
As of February 3rd, 2024, Aiden Platursky has not been charged criminally. Ryan Rumble continues to live in Dubai. Colin Murphy has been sentenced to 5 months in prison.
Only? Wow.
The story surrounding Aiden Platursky is constantly evolving. We have a special section on our website where we're posting all new developments. You'll find it at w5.ctvnews.ca. We'll be back with the last word.
Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain.
Sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all in the all-new Nissan Murano. If you're frustrated with bloating or gas, your body's giving you signs. It's time to try Align. Align Probiotic was designed by gastroenterologists to help relieve symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome. When you feel the signs, it's time to try Align.
I love that my daughter still needs me, but sometimes I can't help due to pain in my hands. So I use Nervive Nerve Relief.
Its dose of ALA helps relieve pain associated with peripheral neuropathy, with results starting in 14 days.
Now I can help again. Feel the difference with Nervive.
Regina King is in our studio, looking radiant as ever.
Don't cover up your glow. Flawless. All eyes on you. Skin esteem is a beautiful thing.
Want to get the most out of one sheet? Grab Bounty. It's inspired by a dishcloth, and you can ditch the mess when you're done. Bounty, quicker picker-upper.
The federal election is on Monday, April 28th. You can vote early. Advanced polls will be open April 18th to 21st. If you prefer, you can vote at any Elections Canada office until Tuesday, April 22nd, 6 p.m., or you can apply to vote by mail. Check your voter information card or visit elections.ca for all the ways you can vote. It's our vote.
For the official information you need to vote, visit elections.ca or call 1-800-463-6868.
See, I'm the best attorney in the country.
Suits LA. All new Sunday, 9/10 Mountain on CTV.
I don't want to be taken advantage of again.
Feeling ripped off
That made me angry.
and overcharged.
And out of their money.
W5 exposes companies.
We need to ensure that consumers are protected.
Canada's repeat offenders.
So it's all fake. They're all fake.
Racking up
Shame. Shame.
customer complaints.
We just have a couple questions.
I don't care. Outside, please.
And all new W5 with Avery Haynes. Next Saturday at 7 on CTV.
Oh dear. My bum's got a hole in it.
One sip of new Fuse iced tea. That's all it took. You may ask why he decided to share the flavor with everyone. One sip and you'll know. It's the flavor.
You already brush, but dentists recommend adding a Waterpik water flosser to your routine. Pulsating water cleans deep to remove up to 99.9% of plaque-treated areas. And the 360-degree rotating tip cleans hard-to-reach places. Trust the #1 water flosser brand, Waterpik.
At A&W, we think we make Canada's best tasting burger. But what do Canada's burger lovers think? These are team burgers from A&W.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
How is it? It's stout. What do you know about our beef? Grass-fed. No steroids, no hormones, no duds. So of all the burgers in Canada, where would you rank this?
Oh, that.
You know when you're a kid and you can't hold your excitement?
Yeah.
That's what this burger makes me feel like.
Taste the team burger at A&W.
Your ball.
Work. Out of nowhere, this beautiful beam of light shined towards me. It was huge inside, full of futuristic technology.
As it whisked me away, a sense of calm washed over me.
It's monitoring the world around us.
It took me to distant worlds, thousands of kilometers away.
And before I knew it, I was downtown.
The new 2025 Subaru Crosstrek, the true urban legend.
No water. That's impossible.
Sponge towels. Nothing absorbs like
It's all in the towel.
Anything you need to tell me, now's the time.
Honest like a lot. Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. Thursday on CTV. Stream next day on Crave.
In the last few weeks, there have been half a dozen UFO sightings in the far north.
In 1972, W5 examined an incident that occurred on a flight from Churchill, Manitoba to Yellowknife. On board, 12 passengers and a crew of 3. During the flight, something was spotted flying alongside the plane.
Well, it appeared a cigar shape only pointed on both ends as though it could have been a saucer, of course. They had to be moving at 3,000 miles an hour probably, down at that altitude. Pretty hard to do with any equipment on Earth that I know of. So we climbed up another 2,000 feet to try and get a look at him. He just disappeared.
You can watch that entire documentary, as well as all of our new investigations, on W5's official YouTube channel. I'm Avery Haynes. On behalf of everyone at W5.
W5,
Thanks for watching.
YouTube.
See you next
Hey,
time.
you want to go down and have some pie? Good girl.
The following program is presented with described video. The following program contains violent, mature subject matter and scenes which may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
A floating body. Disintegrating evidence. A harmless rumor gone horribly, horribly wrong.
If somebody wanted to get rid of the body, they would dump it in the deepest, darkest place.
She was very scared of you.
I said, you need to get away from this guy. He's bad news. This poor girl's just trying to find out the truth.
Every violent crime leaves a trace. A forensic trail that leads to the truth and justice for the wronged.
He thought he got away with it, but he forgot that there was forensic evidence that could link him to her murder.
Every crime scene tells a story. It begins in the waters off Merritt Island, an upscale beach town an hour east of Orlando. There, in the Indian River, a retired judge spots something.
A dead manatee, maybe. Or a body floating off his dock.
It's around 4 o'clock, and it had washed up on his shoreline in his backyard. And that's when he realized it wasn't a manatee at all, it was a woman.
Officers with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office are quick to respond.
I drive up, there's a couple of cars in the driveway, the sheriff's vehicle. All the activity was on the back side of the house, so I walked around where I met with the deputy on scene.
My turn. You like your new knife?
Mhm.
Where's the pie? Downstairs?
No, in the fridge. In the one I will make it.
Blueberry.
This is our supper tomorrow.
What?
This is our supper tomorrow.
Okay.
Still you don't smell it. There you go.
I don't want any more Mennonite pie. I didn't even like it.
Yeah?
No. Don't buy me any more Mennonite pie. I don't need that garbage.
You don't like it?
No.
No.
They don't know how to make pie. God.
It's like,
I can make better pie than that.
I think they put a flour.
And they sold $15. Not worth a shit.
Yeah, I think they put flour.
Yeah. Is this my sweater here, honey?
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't like being cold.
Okay. I don't like you being cold also, baby.
It's like, I'm gonna have to go back to bed.
Mhm.
But I can't keep warm.
I don't like the light of that. It's too bright like sun. Ah,
Yep, I agree. But that's why we put it there. I thought it'd be dimmable.
yeah, even me, I thought it's kind of like like this. It's too bright. It's too bright that kind of it's blind. It can be blind you. Something. Something, something. Ha, ha, ha. Wow. Look at it. It's so good. I don't like yellow, but the combination of blue and yellow, it's so nice. No green. No green, green, green. I say. Says. Uh-huh.
There it is. I got it.
What is that?
My income tax came in April 7th.
Mm. At least you don't pay anymore. You don't pay already, baby. They refund you.
Yeah, now I got a paycheck sitting out there, Unimark too.
Oh. So on Monday,
Yeah.
pick up the truck. And then get your paycheck.
On Wednesday,
Hmm?
I'm gonna help Debbie go to the hospital for her appointment.
Okay, she don't like me.
Well, you can take her.
No.
You take her. I don't have to. But somebody has to take her, and then we'll go after that, we'll go to Hearst. We'll get the truck ready, but we have to do her appointment, and then we can go to Hearst.
Maiksi. Maiksi. It's itchy. I wish they will not dig my garden tonight.
Well, I hope they don't. If so, we're gonna have to throw knives at them. What are you killing?
I don't know if that is spider or what. It's run fast. Hi, RR. Kumusta?
This American butcher is a true sculptor. Right now, he's preparing a beef cut for ribeye steaks, trimming off the less valuable parts like backbone. Next, he expertly removes the flat bones from meat using a sharp knife. With just the press of his thumb, the unwanted bones separate effortlessly. Doesn't it seem like the meat in his hands behaves like soft, pliable clay? And now comes the most crucial part. The butcher carefully removes the spinalis dorsi, the top muscle that sits over the ribeye. This layer of fat and muscle is often trimmed away, especially when aiming for a cleaner, more marbled steak with just the right amount of fat. All that's left is to trim off the excess fat and silver skin, and the process is complete. Would you love to try a steak from this cut? This American butcher is a true sculptor. Right now, he's preparing
What kind of cut of steak?
The ribeye.
less valuable
Mm.
parts like the backbone.
Do you have used spark plugs? Don't throw them away. We can use them to make cool welding tools. Remove the elements in the spark plug. Prepare wood for the handle. Make a hole in the wood for a place. To insert the tip of the spark plug, prepare a piece of cable. Don't forget to like, dot, and subscribe. If this video is useful, insert cable into the spark plug hole. Let it hang loose at the end. Save another piece of black cable. Don't forget the clamp jack. Hook the cable to the clamp jack. Now you have 2 strands of cable. Find a wall clock battery. 1.5 volt power. Unload the contents. Remove the charcoal rod. Sharpen both ends. Insert into the spark plug hole. Where the cable strands are, take a battery. Connect the cable to the battery. Red positive power. Connect it to the spark plug. Black negative power. To the iron to be welded. Clamped. Let's try it. Do you have used spark plugs? Don't throw them away. We can use them.
Since these are the elements, they aren't, even though they're plastic and coated, I do want to make sure that silicone is safe from the elements. Since these are the elements, they aren't, even though they're plastic and coated, I do want to make sure that silicone is safe from the elements.
Hallelujah.
Since these are double tap like you
This man is truly a genius. I found a trick that changed how I cook chicken, and now I only make it this way. Take 1 frozen chicken breast and grate it using a peeler. Then grate 2 potatoes and 1 onion the same way, and put everything into a bowl. Next, grate 2 grams of mozzarella cheese and add it to the bowl. Add 1 egg, 1 teaspoon each of oregano, salt, and black pepper. Mix everything really well. In a pan, heat a bit of oil and 1 tablespoon of butter until it melts. Pour the mixture into the pan and spread it evenly with a spoon. Cover and cook for 15 minutes. Then flip it using a plate, return it to the pan, cover, and cook for another 10 minutes. Once done, put it on a plate and sprinkle parsley on top for extra flavor. It's simple, tasty, and your whole family will love it. If you watch
Really?
don't forget to comment recipe, and I will send it to you, and also share the name of your city for a shout out in the next video. This man is truly a It changed how I cook chicken, and now I only make it this way. Take one frozen chicken breast and grate it using a peeler. Then grate 2 potatoes and 1 onion the same way, and put everything into a bowl. Next, grate 200 grams of mozzarella cheese and add it to the bowl. Add 1 egg, 1 teaspoon each of oregano, salt, and black pepper. Mix everything really well. In a pan, heat a bit of oil and 1 tablespoon of butter until it melts. Pour the mixture into the pan and spread it evenly with a spoon.
It's an easy dinner to make. Do you want to see it?
One moment. I will finish this one first. Almost.
For another 10 minutes. Once done,
Since these are the elements, they are, even though they're plastic and coated, I do want to make sure that I silicone them. You can see from the elements. Double tap it.
this man is truly a genius.
I have a question for you. If you want to shoot a deer, say like this in the heart, what part of the body do you aim at to be able to hit the heart or to be able to hit the lungs? Okay? Now, I would guess most of you would probably aim if you want to hit the heart, would probably be right in this area here, which is A. But I want to bring some other things. Did you know that this could be a reference issue? This C here, if we take a frontal shot. Do you know if you're also shooting broad shot, the back of the shoulder blade, that is a reference point? Do you know right down here there's a bone there called your pectoral? Do you know that is a reference point to no issue? What about this one here? This is the 10th rib. Do you know that is a reference point to no issue? You don't understand that. You gotta follow me. Because I'm gonna teach you. If it's gonna matter, it's gonna go right here. So tell me, what do you think? I have a question for you. If you want to shoot a deer, say like this in the heart. It's a Vergès 12 gauge surprise. This is a Vergès 12 gauge pump action folding shotgun. It's a bolt release right here in front of the trigger. Push up on that with my finger. And then I can cycle the gun open. Just like this. By moving the whole sleeve around the wrist of the gun. The folding mechanism is quite easy to operate once you know how it works. We have this tab here. We lift up that hook, engage it with the top of the receiver, and locks it in place. Once you've got that hook open, you can slide the barrel assembly down. And it pivots like this. What's holding it together are these locking ribs, which fit into the recesses in the top of the receiver. It's a Vergès 12 gauge cigar. Attention. Jump into calisthenics challenge today. 28-day calisthenics challenge.
embark on the 28-day calisthenics challenge. It's super easy to follow. Mad Muscles offers a
Everyone is making a loin like this after seeing this genius idea. Start by preparing 4 pieces of string, all the same length. Next, place 1 kilo of pork loin in the center of the strings. Place a wooden spoon over the meat and tie everything with the strings just like I'm doing. It should look like this. And set aside. Now, in a large pot, add 10 grams of black peppercorns, 2 teaspoons of salt, 3 bay leaves, and the peels of 2 medium onions. Add the meat we prepared, resting the spoon on the sides of the pot, 2 liters of water, and let it cook for 40 minutes. After this time has passed, brush 50 grams of melted, unsalted butter all over the meat. Add 2 pinches of salt, 2 pinches of garlic powder, 2 pinches of sweet paprika. Using your hands, rub the spices all over the meat. Then, wrap the meat in a sheet of aluminum foil. Transfer it to a baking tray. Take it to a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius. 360.
Look at that. Look at the combination of blue and yellow. It's nice.
Well, that is nice, hon. That's like my color of my
Yeah.
sunflowers. But they're lilies.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're colt's foot lilies. That's what they are. I like your glass.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is Carmen bought it for me.
Okay, just come for a second and look at the
Yeah, I'm done.
dinner
I just
video.
finished this one.